Jeanne Richard, Campbell Wright, Lavaro Planco, Julia Tannheimer. These young athletes are kicking butt on the World Cup, and it made me wonder, what are some of the best results that we've seen from junior athletes on the World Cup? So I asked my friends over at Real Biathlon if they could help me out with this. And thankfully, he thought this was a cool idea. So today we're gonna go through historical results and see who were some of the best young athletes on the Biathlon World Cup. And always, if you're new here, this is my YouTube channel about biathlon, so if you're a biathlon fan, hit that subscribe button, help me clean that 5K target. All right, let's go check it out. So Real Biathlon has this really cool feature. It's behind a paywall, but I use Real Biathlon so much that I don't mind paying for this feature, but it's a search feature. And basically with this feature, what you can do is you can just go through and search a ton of stuff. You can see who some of the top skiers are in different races throughout history, who are some of the fastest shooters in different races throughout history, who's some of the best career shooters, for example. But today I'm gonna be using this to figure out who are some of the youngest athletes to ever compete. And the first thing that I want to find out is who is by far just the absolute youngest athlete to ever race on the World Cup. So we're gonna go to this new metric that they have here, age at the race. We're gonna start with 1, and then now here is the thing. You can't just do like 20 years old, you actually have to do days that they've been alive. So 20 years old would be 7,300 days. And let's see, what else, what other data can we get here? Let's see what place they came in. Let's see, how did they shoot, total percent. Also, I wanna figure out what was their ski rank. All right, let's see what we can pull up here. And now what happens here sometimes is that if there's too many people, yep, like we got right here, too many matches. So we gotta go younger. 20 years old, too many people have done it. Let's go 18, 6,570 days. All right, so now we got some data here. Let's sort by age at the race. Whoa, the youngest person to ever race on the World Cup was 14 years old. Katia Quincenza del Fabaro. I'm just gonna say Katia del Fabaro. She raced one race. She raced one race on the World Cup, and she was 14 years old at the time. And that race was back in 1993. That is crazy. One race, she came in 72nd place, but I don't know, this doesn't look like a picture of a 14-year-old, so maybe we're missing some data for her. That's pretty crazy. Who else is on this? Petra! I know this person. Shout out to Mace and Vasek, 2 US athletes that I work with on the regular. This is their mom. Petra was the second youngest person to make her World Cup debut. This is really cool. I didn't know she did biathlon. It looks like she had a couple of races under her belt here. Yeah, made her debut. Oh, maybe even before this even. Her best result ever was 12th in the sprint in Oberhof. That's when she was 15. That was the next season. That is crazy. Let's see, what was her, okay, 75% shooting, and this is before they had ski data. So, hey, look at that, Petra Savankova, second youngest person to make her debut. That's really cool. Got Hungarian. Let's see if there's any names that we know from today on here. Any really young athletes making their debut? All right, let's actually go check out the men, see who the youngest man is. All right, so we got the youngest men to make their debuts here. 13.3 years old. What? From Poland. What? Let's see, 13 years old. He raced up until he was 18. His best result was at the Olympics in Chernobyl in 1968. 16 years old, but he made his World Cup debut in Elverum. Looks like that's in Norway. Whoa, that is crazy. 24th, actually, not bad. I mean, how many people were even in this race? Will it even tell us? Hey, that's actually not bad. 48 people in total, top half, but wow, 13.3 years old. He's a child. He's a baby. He's a baby making his World Cup debut. Who else we got here from Finland? Let's see. Oh man, I don't even know if I want to try to pronounce this name. Veli-Matti Rautio? Only one race on the World Cup, made it at 13, just about 14 years old. Again, doesn't look like the face of a 14-year-old. Raced in Pokluka, came in 29th place. Wow, really, really interesting here. So yeah, youngest people to ever make their World Cup debut in their 13 years old. All right, but let's see who's the youngest person to ever podium. So we want to see age at the race. We don't really care. We just want to know who has come in the top 3 on the World Cup. We're going to go by women first. So we have everyone who has ever podiumed, and of course, it's too much. So let's try to narrow this down to any 20-year-olds. Has anyone younger than 20 years old podiumed at the World Cup? Okay, looks like we got a few. All right, it's not gonna, 16.3 years old, the youngest person, the youngest woman to podium at a World Cup. It's Iva Karagiozova from Hungary, looks like. Really cool. Wow, podium in her 2nd World Cup race ever. Her 1st World Cup race ever was 7th place. 2nd one was a win. Absolutely crazy. That is awesome. Let's see, any other big names on here? Some Germans I'm sure people know of. Here we go. Here's Magdalena Neuner. This is what I wanted to see. She won a World Cup biathlon race at the age of 19.9 years old, almost 20 years old. Let's take a look, see her races. Her World Cup debut, she debuted at 18.9 with 41st place. And then let's see, when did she make her first top 10? Only a couple days later. And then boom, her first World Cup podium is the win after getting a couple top 10s. Win at 19.9 in Oberhof in front of the home crowd. We love to see it. And she was the fastest skier on the day with 80% shooting, and she still won the race. That's pretty wild. All right, let's check out the men. Who are some of the youngest men to have podiumed here? So we're still at 20 years old. Let's go. Okay, we got a few. Youngest person to ever podium was Frank Peter Roche, and he was also the youngest person to win a race at 18.9. Wow, these races were literally a couple days apart, literally a month apart between his first podium and then his first win. So 18.9, Frank Peter Roche, a German. So we got 2 Germans. Some of these favorites here. What was his specialty? 80% shooting, and we don't have his ski performance. So my guess is he was probably a much better skier than he was a shooter. But wow, look at this dude. Holy smokes. His podium percentage is absurd. Look at how many podiums he's got. Oh my lord, I bet this guy, hold on, we gotta go find some other data here. I bet this guy has the highest podium percentage that we've ever seen out of anyone, because looks like he didn't race very long. He raced until he was 27 years old, and look at all the podiums that he had. Let's see, podium percentage. He doesn't even have the highest podium percentage. Frank Roche, podium percentage at 48.1%. Dude, this guy, Frank Ulrich, 61% podium percent. That's crazy. But yeah, where are we? Frank Roche, 48%. So almost half the time this guy raced, he was on the podium. That is absolutely crazy. Here's Johannes Tingus Bo, Martin Fourcade. Really, really interesting. So yeah, wow. Okay, so Frank Roche on the podium, and look at this. All Germans on the podium except for this one, Thomas Sikora from Poland, who got on the podium as just below 20 years old. So now I also kind of wondered, how did the average junior athlete do when they made it to the World Cup? So this is why you subscribe to this channel, everyone, because I went down and downloaded all the data from Real Biathlon, and then I started running some formulas on it to get some stats and see what the picture told. All right, so here you go. This is what you want to look at right here. Now, this is only data for the last 10 years because I wanted to keep it in like the modern era. So pretty much ever since the Sochi Olympics, the average junior athlete on the World Cup is coming in 61st place. Now, this is a little bit skewed, you have to realize, because if you're a junior athlete and you're doing really well, like Johannes Tingus Bo did when he first came up, or Sebastian Samuelsson, you're gonna get more opportunities. So if you're doing well, you're like in the top 20s, you're gonna bring that average down. But maybe you're a junior athlete, you get one opportunity, you come in like 100th place, and then you never come back again. So the data is gonna be a little bit skewed here, but it is kind of interesting. Average is 61, median is also 61, and then obviously the minimum is 1. So we have had a couple junior winners on the World Cup, and those have all been Johannes Tingus Bo And then we have Sebastian Samuelsson, who came in second at the Olympics, actually. And then Samuelsson second, Perot third, and then Samuelsson also a third. So not too many podiums on the World Cup. And this might be part of it. The average ski rank for a junior athlete is about, again, 62, which is kind of wild. But then look at this, the average shooting percentage, 77. Come on, juniors, we can do better than that. 77%, you know, maybe there's some nerves. You're racing on the World Cup for the first time, who knows? But come on, juniors, we can do better than that. But in the last 10 years, we've had 136 different junior men race on the World Cup. On average, if you can make it to the World Cup, you get about 18 or 19 races as a junior. And then, like I said, the person who just got the absolute most races on the World Cup was Sebastian Samuelsson. He had 52 races on the World Cup as a junior athlete, which is absolutely crazy. All right, but hey, let's go over to the women here and let's take a look at the same data here. So on average, the average result for a junior woman on the World Cup is actually 53rd, so a little bit better. Again, the data is a little bit skewed because in the last 10 years, we've had some really strong junior women, such as Elvira Oiberg, Justine Brezat-Boucher. But again, the median about 52. And then let's see how many women have had a victory. Only 3 women have had a victory as junior women, and that's Justine Brezat-Boucher, Laura Dahlmeier, and then we got Justine is on the podium a few times. Franziska Preuss is on the podium. Let's see, this is our bottom line here. Davidova was on the podium. Elvira, Franziska, like I said, Dahlmeier, lots of Dahlmeier. Yeah, wow. And then the average ski rank, again, 56, kind of to be expected. And then, wow, the junior women do a little bit better on the range than the junior men. Average shooting, 81% or so. That's pretty cool. And then here we go, 155 unique junior women on the World Cup in the last 10 years. And on average, if you make it to the World Cup as a junior woman, you get about 22 races. But then, as we saw, I will go back here, the person who has raced the most on the World Cup as a junior has been Justine Brezat-Boucher, who's raced 68 races as a junior woman. That's kind of crazy. Now, the junior age group is actually from the ages of 19, 20, and 21. But what happens if you're younger than 19? Well, that's the youth age group, and don't worry, I went through and I found that data as well. So we've had 22 different youth athletes race on the World Cup. Again, Justine Brezat-Boucher being number 1 with 15 races as a youth athlete. Wow, she made her World Cup debut super young. Looks like about 18.4 years old. So yeah, made her World Cup debut and then just never looked back. And on average, if you do make it to the World Cup as a youth athlete, you get about 6 or 7 races. But yeah, as you can see, our best youth athlete in the last 10 years has been Justine with a 14th place. That's probably one of her very first biathlon races ever. Let's take a look. Her very first biathlon race ever, she came in 16th. That's crazy. And then yeah, did a little bit better in Pokluka, 14th place, moving up. Wow, that's really cool. But yeah, then same thing for the youth men. 8 different youth men in the last 10 years have raced with, on average, about 4 races. But our best performer, 48th place, was actually from Croatia, Legovic. Let's see, how's he doing? Made his World Cup debut last season, coming in 73rd place, but after that, he was able to bump it up to 48th, really cool as a 17-year-old. Looks like he's been on the World Cup actually this year, even racing in Ruhpolding. Unfortunately, did not race the pursuit, but made the pursuit as an 18-year-old. So I wonder if he's gearing up for Junior World Championships and whether or not he is gonna be there to compete up in Estonia. It would be cool to see him. All right, so those are some of the performances that we have seen from young athletes on the World Cup. What do you think about some of that stuff? 13 years old racing on the World Cup, absolutely crazy. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to be the next breakthrough junior athlete. So that will require you to go take a look at some junior results. But yeah, if you're a biathlon fan, hit that subscribe button because there's gonna be biathlon content coming out on this channel all the time. But until next time, we'll see ya.